Reagan, and today I am doing a highly requested video, and that is kind of a life update Q&A. I'm not gonna lie, I have been sort of not dreading to make this video, but like I knew I was gonna have to like talk about some things that I didn't know if I was ready to talk about, but I'm ready. Today we're gonna talk about it. That's right, I went on my Instagram, which by the way, if you're not following me on there, you totally should be, you know, shameless shout out to myself. I asked for questions on my newest Instagram, and I had like 250 questions, so I obviously can't get through all of those, but I'm going to try to talk through some of the most popular and kind of just give an overall life update, Q&A, book related, life related. Let's get started. The majority of questions I got was kind of in the same sort of topic and realm, and that is, what do I do for a living? Because some people don't know. How am I adjusting to Chicago? What's work life? Blah, 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 blah. So I'm just gonna get into it. So let's go. So in terms of just kind of answer what I do for a living, I'll just go ahead and start with that. I work in advertising. I work for a big agency in Chicago, and I am a buyer. Specifically, I work in programmatic, which is kind of a complicated thing to explain, but essentially I am just like a digital buyer for various different types of media for clients. And that's what I do day to day. It's a lot of math, it's a lot of data, it's a lot of optimizations, and I think it's really, really fun. I've learned a lot, and I think it's really exciting because it's a very new thing in the industry. So I'm happy that I get to learn so much so quickly. Kind of moving into how I'm adjusting, how I'm doing, and I'm gonna be straight up honest with you, and just be real for a second. And this is probably why I feel like I didn't want to make this video for a while, because I didn't want to admit it, but I have never been more stressed out and more anxious in my entire life for these past 4 to 5 months, and it's due to a lot of different variables, and I think I'm comfortable talking to you guys about it now because I feel like I've worked through a lot of it personally myself. Essentially, moving across the country right after college is a huge life step. It was stressful. I actually love Chicago, and I'll definitely talk more about Chicago later on. But then, you know, starting a new job, and then also trying to keep reading and making a whole bunch of YouTube videos at the same time. It was a lot, and it was a huge transition for myself, and I was just constantly stressed out. I'm trying by no means to complain. I'm kind of just talking about my own personal emotional work through, because it was just really hard for me to find the balance between work, YouTube, and real life. I mean, especially when I started my first job, I was put on a very difficult and demanding client, which meant I was usually working till about 7 or 8, and I usually had work to do also on the weekends, and then coupling that with also filming 3 YouTube videos during the weekends and editing during the week and trying to read books to talk about on YouTube during the week. It was just a lot. I honestly felt like I was always working or doing YouTube or reading or just something in that rotation, and I just found myself so stressed out and anxious because I'm one of those types of people that I'm really, really hard on myself. I like to make a schedule and I like to stick to it, and if I can't fulfill my own obligations that I put on myself, like, I am very hard on myself, basically. And the thing is too, I want everyone to kind of understand is I love my full-time job a lot. I am super excited to be working there. I love the company, I love the people, I love the clients. It's so great. It's just been a bit of an adjustment trying to kind of figure out this balance, and I finally feel like I'm figuring out that balance, which is really awesome. And then with that, I also have YouTube, which is my like passion project. I love it. And I had this internal struggle of not wanting to let anything with YouTube subside because I love doing YouTube, and I just hated that I was gonna potentially, you know, upload less or read less. I just didn't want that to happen because it really bothered me. So with all of that, I was just very stressed out from September through December. And then, you know, with the holiday break and also some changes that occurred at work, things recently for the past 3-4 weeks have just been totally different, so much better. And I also feel like I've gotten like a very good schedule down, which have made things better. But that is the update. To summarize, I love my job. It's really great. I'm learning a lot. I love YouTube. It's great. I've always loved it. I love you guys. For a few months there, I was a little stressed out trying to figure out the balance between the two. Now I feel like I'm starting to figure out that balance and finding like a harmonious, you know, situation. And I definitely can make another video, which I feel like people might be interested in, and kind of talking about how I balance work, YouTube, and then also giving tips on how to read more with a really busy schedule. Because I feel like at this point I've become a bit of a master. Because like trying to fit everything in is a bit like Jenga, but with your life. But yeah, that's kind of like a big emotional life update. I obviously didn't go too much into my anxiety. I never really talked about my anxiety a bunch on my channel. It's not really something I'm comfortable with doing yet. But yeah, that definitely flared up quite a bit over those months too. But again, things are a lot better. But moving on to the Chicago update. I feel like I had the next batch of questions were a lot of how do you like Chicago? How are you surviving your first Midwest winter? And people, I'm here to deliver those answers. So first off, I really am liking Chicago. It is really different than anything I've ever experienced before, but first and foremost, there's something really great about just being able to walk anywhere. I live in a very central area of Chicago, so walking, I don't have a car, so I walk or take public transit everywhere, and I really love that. It's great. Like I can just like pop over. If there's anything I feel like doing, I don't have to get in my car and drive 40 minutes through traffic. And the next thing I just love, honestly, and this is just because it's a big part of Clay's and I's life, food. There's so much to eat here. There's so many restaurants to try out. There's so many neighborhoods to see. I feel like Clay and I've only scratched the surface, but exploring Chicago, exploring all the restaurants and everything has just been so much fun. Also, all the sports has been so fun. I grew up a Chicago sports fan, so being able to go to Cubs games, Bears games, Blackhawks games, watching it on TV at like a local bar has just been really great. And also just kind of pushing myself out of my own comfort zone and moving to a whole new place that I honestly never knew I'd be able to do has been just kind of a really proud moment for myself. I feel like I've done a lot of growing. I feel very adult, you know, walking into the big city every day to go to my office job, you know, up in a tall building, doing office things. The next prong to that is the winter. So here's the deal. I'm not afraid to say it. I prefer the Chicago winter 100,000,000% to the Texas heat. Honestly, it's been cold. Like we've definitely had a few very cold days, sub-zero temperatures and stuff like that, but I honestly don't mind it that much. Like I just bundle up, I have a huge coat, I have a big hat, whatever, and like, yeah, I may be cold for a little bit, but then I get to where I'm going, I shut off my layers, I'm not covered in sweat, I'm not sunburned, I don't have heat rash like I get in the summer, and it's just like, it's long, but it's not, I mean, obviously I know I have a few more months, but it's just like a different type of thing, and I honestly feel like it's just based on preference. I hate the heat so much that an extreme cold environment I feel like is preferable to said heat. And honestly, I'm so looking forward to having a Chicago summer because I know people say it's humid and it's 80 degrees, but like I'm used to humid and 110 degrees every single day from like April to November. So 80 degrees and humid is like a vacation. I feel like I can go outside and do things and not feel like I want to faint. Like I'm so looking forward to it. I can't even articulate it. And also experiencing snow during Christmas time was awesome. Having a fall season, which I normally never had before, and you know, experiencing some sort of spring, which I know is many months away. I'm, again, looking forward to it. I'm not used to seasons, and so far, it's been great. On to kind of just like a bit of a random set of questions. One of the biggest questions I also got was, do you ever see yourself writing a book? And if you did, what genre it would be? I kind of always have a boxed answer for this. I always say never. I don't have any plans at all to write a book as of now, but I don't really like to be like, definitive no, because you never know what life's gonna bring in like 20 years. Maybe I'm gonna wake up when I'm like 37 and I have an amazing idea and I just wanna write it. So maybe that will happen, but as of now, I really don't have any plans. But I'll say if I was to write a book, it would most likely be fantasy and maybe middle grade. I just feel like writing a middle grade book would be so fun. But again, I have no plans as of now to write a book. No, I can't even think about adding that to my plate. Someone asked me, what are the 2 top travel destinations for myself, both in the United States and internationally? And this I think is such a great question because I've been asking myself this a lot because I want to do some more traveling in 2018. So for the United States, I feel like anywhere in the Pacific Northwest because I've never actually been there. And so I really would like to go, be that Seattle or Portland or some sort of combination of anything up and down that area. I've just never been. And I would love to go so much. That's definitely United States. In terms of international, hands down Japan. Anywhere in Japan, I want to go to Japan so bad. Bessie asked me if I had to describe my fashion sense using one condiment, what would it be? I think I'd go with spicy mustard. Why? I don't really know. Maybe because mustard's a little bit of a safe choice and I'm a little conservative. Like I don't like to flash too much of anything. I'm a little, I'm a little more reserved in my dressing, but it's got some spice. I'll throw on like a little neckerchief or like a bold pattern or like a interesting cut pant on. So a little spice in there. I don't know. Condiments. And I think the last question I'm gonna answer, because this video is already getting pretty long, is a lot of people have asked me, one, what did I study in university? And two, what is some advice I would give to high school seniors trying to decide what to study in school? And I'd like to just first off start by saying before I answer this, I am by no means a professional. So if you have any major questions about your own future, I would definitely talk to a school counselor or the counselor at the university you're going to. They will have more specific resources and information for you and they'll be able to cater more to you. But I do have some general advice, which I'll jump into. So first off, I was a double major in school. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Advertising and a Bachelor of Arts in History. I have no regrets about that. I loved history, even though I knew I wasn't going to necessarily pursue anything with it, though I felt like it gave me a lot of really great skills, both in research and writing, and just an overall like empathy in terms of studying other cultures and other history around the world. I just felt like it helped with my overall worldview, which I really appreciate, and I just love history so much. In terms of advice, my main thing is don't be too hard on yourself and don't be beholden to the decision you made as an 18-year-old going into school. Keep in mind, like, obviously there are some big buckets I feel like you might want to be sure about. Do you want to go into the sciences? Do you want to go into the arts? But at the end of the day, you can switch between arts and sciences your sophomore year, even your junior year. Like, there's absolutely no way you're gonna know if you like to do something until you try it, until you take a few classes, until you take a lab, or you take a research group, or you maybe even have an internship. It's one of those situations where do as much research as you can, but ultimately know it's okay if you're able to switch. Because especially in a lot of instances, your first 2 years at university are spent taking classes that everyone at every major needs to take. So if you take maybe 1 or 2 major classes with all of your prereqs, you can begin to get a feeling work out for you. I also recommend meeting with professors in that field, or even grad students in that field, or any type of professional, to kind of get more perspective on what their day-to-day life is, with that degree in their professional life. I did that a lot at the beginning, and it really helped inform what I didn't want to do and ultimately what I did want to do. So don't be afraid to ask questions, and also don't feel like you're 100% locked into a decision, because at the end of the day, you don't know until you know, and unless you have experience in that, how could you possibly know? So you can always switch. Ask questions, talk to your counselors, they're there to help you. Don't stress too much, because I switched a lot of times and I could have graduated in 3 years. Again, every situation is different, so I don't want to be like, do you, girl or boy, but just also don't be too hard on yourself and use the resources that your university offers, and you'll definitely find where you're meant to go. Alrighty guys, that is my life update and Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below if you'd be interested in a video that kind of talks through how to read more and kind of how to balance a lot of different things to make time for it. If you're interested in that, and I will see you guys soon with another video soon. Goodbye.